So I figured the way to do that would be to go back to our V2V Bible study.
Yes.
Yes, because, okay, so we did Genesis.
Yeah.
And then we did Exodus.
Yeah.
And the next book of the Bible is Leviticus, which is fantastic. So we can do a little bit of commentary and just do an examination of what the Old Testament is all about, and then kind of translate that into modern terms so that people can understand how they should be following along in the Bible.
Okay.
All right. So we start off with basically a summary of chapters 1 through 9. And so God gives detailed instructions for performing ritualistic animal sacrifices. Such bloody rituals must be important to God, judging from the number of times that he repeats their instructions. Indeed, the entire first 9 chapters of Leviticus can be summarized as follows. Get an animal, kill it, sprinkle the blood around, cut the dead animal into pieces, and burn it for a sweet savor unto the Lord. Yeah. I know, isn't that great?
Yeah, I feel the warm sense of, incoming good food when I sacrifice my animals to the good Lord.
He must really enjoy the sweet smell of burning animal, I would imagine.
God likes that smell.
He does like it.
He rejoices in it.
It's sweet. When you are making your animal sacrifices, be sure to remember that all the fat is the Lord's, because God loves blood and guts, but most especially fat, and he doesn't like to share. He doesn't like to share. That's chapter 3, verse 16. The fat belongs to God.
Yeah.
Also, be careful when you eat during these animal sacrifices. Don't eat fat or blood. These are for God, and again, he doesn't like to share. Chapter 7, verses 18 to 27. If you want to follow along, I'll reference the chapter and verse too. But yeah, don't eat the fat or the blood, because those are God's. Bad. Okay. Next, God gives instructions for, quote, wave offerings. That's W-A-V-E. I don't know if you're, and heave offerings. He says these offerings are to be made perpetually by a statute forever. So the question is, have you made your heave offering today?
No.
There's still time. That's chapter 7, verses 30 to 36.
What is that, though? Like, just
it's not clear. No.
Oh, so
wave offerings.
We're supposed to interpret it. So is that taking a shit?
Or maybe puking? Heaving? I don't know.
Yeah.
But do that. Make sure you do that forever. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Moses a little bit. Moses does it all for God. First, he kills an animal.
Yeah.
He wipes the blood on Aaron's ears, thumbs, and big toes. This is pretty awesome. Then he sprinkles blood around about and waves the guts before the Lord. And finally, he burns the whole mess for a sweet savor before the Lord. Chapter 8, verses 14 to 32. So Moses has this down. He's even putting a little blood on the ear and the toe for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta have.
And the thumbs. Like, I don't know who's doing that kind of thing today, but I guess they should be.
Well, if they don't, they're not real Christians.
That's true. Oh, here's a good one. This one like blew my mind. 4-legged fowls are abominations. Huh?
Yeah.
4-legged fowls. Yeah, that's my 4-legged chicken out there. It's an abomination. It's got 4 legs. What? What?
I call him Pete. His name's
4-legged
Pete.
duck.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
I don't understand what a 4-legged bird is. By the way, if you want to look at that reference, it's chapter 11, verse 20. So just so. Oh, and be sure to watch out for those other flying, creeping things which have 4 feet. God gets pretty technical with this stuff. I don't know if he means like 4-legged insects. You think that since God made the insects and so many of them, there are like several million species of insects, that you would know how many legs they have.
I would think so.
Usually they have 6.
Right.
But so watch out for those other flying, creeping things which have 4 feet. Chapter 11, verse 23. This is important. Don't touch any dead creeping things. Chapter 11, verse 31. Don't do it. You see a dead creeping thing on the ground? Don't touch it.
But, like, if it's dead, why would it be creeping?
Well, maybe it was creeping before and then died. I mean, that would be very strange if it was still kept creeping.
Well, wouldn't it be a creeping dead thing? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dead creeping thing.
I don't know, man.
There's more about creeping things, by the way. So, here's a quote for you. Every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth shall be an abomination. That's really one of my favorite passages. Chapter 11, verse 41. It's just so cool. Like, I'm going to read it again because it's so great.
Yeah.
Every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth shall be an abomination.
Yes.
What creeping things creepeth? Like a lizard? A grasshopper? They don't really creep.
Yeah. Travis's hand?
It kind of creep. Yeah. It creepeth upon Travis's hand creepeth upon a young lady's thigh.
Ooh.
It does.
Yeah. Is that an abomination?
Not according to the Bible, so he's safe.
Right, okay.
But also, ye shall not make yourselves abominable with any creeping thing that creepeth. Any creeping thing that creepeth. So you wouldn't want to associate yourself with Travis's creeping hand in any sense, even because it's creeping. Creeping. It's creepeth. Chapter 11, verse 43. Okay, all right. I think we're done with the animal stuff, that looks like. Okay, this next passage tells you what to do if you get your seed of copulation on yourself, your clothes, or your partner. Thank God this is in the Bible. It's I'm going to leave it open because I want people to look this up. It's chapter 15, verses 16 to 18, and verse 32. So, if you want to know what to do, if you get your seed of copulation on yourself, your clothes, or your partner, look that up.
Okay.
Right. There's some more sprinkling of the blood and burning of the fat for a sweet savor unto the Lord. Again, chapter 17, verse 6. Oh, here's some good advice. Don't uncover the nakedness of any of your relatives or neighbors. So just ask them to keep their clothes on when you're around. You don't want to...
Yeah, because right. Seeing any of that is too much.
It's too much. I mean,
yeah,
especially your neighbors.
Yeah.
Chapter 18, verse 6 to 18 and 20. Also, thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness as long as she is apart for her uncleanliness. Now, what that means is don't even look at a menstruating woman. Don't even approach her.
Is that what you got from it? Wow.
It is what I got from it.
That's interesting. See, I got something different from it.
Yeah.
I got, don't look at the crazy woman who's homeless taking off her clothes in Walmart.
No, well, apparently that's okay, according to the Bible. As long as she's not on her period. She's on her period.
Or your neighbor. Right.
Or your neighbor. Right, or your neighbor. But I guess the random naked woman in Walmart who's homeless and also dirty, but not menstruating, is cool.
Right.
Chapter 18, verse 19. We're coming to the home stretch on this book here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's exciting. If you lie with your wife and your mother-in-law, then all three of you must be burned to death. So, wow, that's pretty heavy.
So you really shouldn't fuck your wife's mom? So you shouldn't turn to your wife and say, I fucked your mom?
Well, I guess if you don't fuck your wife, instead fuck her mom, that's cool. But don't do both.
Right.
Because then all three of you will be burned to death. Even though it's no fault of your wife that you've done this with her mother, she also will be burned to death.
Of course.
Of course. Well, it only makes sense that's how, that's the law.
Justice. Yeah. Justice.
It's also justice.
Yeah.
Chapter 20, verse 14 on that one.
Yeah.
I would really encourage everyone to look this stuff up because it sounds like we're making it up.
Yeah.
Handicapped people cannot approach the altar of God. They would profane it. So, I don't know how deep that goes. If you have a limp, maybe, I don't know, handicapped in what sense. But if you're fucked up in some way, and maybe you're in a wheelchair, you cannot approach the altar of God. Right. He doesn't want you anywhere near it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead.
I don't think anyone who's handicapped should be allowed anywhere near that thing. Fuck that.
Well, God said so, and he's pretty good reason.
Yeah.
You know, they would profane it. It'd be like saying, "Hey, God, fuck off! I'm rolling up on my wheelchair," and people are like, "Oh my gosh!" Like the disrespect is so great.
Yeah.
My guess would be that person would also be burned alive. Yeah. So that's chapter 21, verses 16 to 23, and the final passage we're looking at today in Leviticus is, so God describes the torments that he has planned for those who displease him. It's the usual stuff, plagues, burning fevers that will consume the eyes, etc. But he reserves the worst for the little children. He says, Ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. I will send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children, and ye shall eat the flesh of your sons and daughters. But if you humble your uncircumcised heart, God won't do any of these nasty things to you. It's your choice. Yeah. Your enemies will eat your seed.
Yeah.
That's a punishment.
I always make my enemies eat my cum. Yeah.
And what about the wild beasts who will rob you of your children?
No, I don't fuck with them, but yeah.
And then the next part is that you shall eat the flesh of your sons and daughters. The Hungry Games. In fact, that's what this is based on.
Yeah.
It's a biblical story. See, I didn't even realize that until I just read this. That the new Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, The Hungry Games, is a religious thing. Right.
Yeah. And what he was really trying to tell you was the story of God. You know?
Right. And that's cool. Like, that makes me feel a whole lot better about this upcoming movie of his.
Me too.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And that final chapter and verses, chapter 26, verses 16 through 41, all about the torments, the plagues, the eating of the children, the eating of the seed, and all of that stuff, and the beasts, wild beasts, too. So there you go. There's a little summary of the book of Leviticus, and